I ain't never gonna stop buying converters, big dog. Plus, I'm about to pay even more. I don't care what type of market we in.
Got a customer, he found me from the ad. Don't be mad, cause I paid that boy a different type of bag. Not to brag, I'm a beast, and I never paid the least. And I got a lot of bread, and I ain't talking about no yeast. Yeast, you about to eat, I'm talking feast. They call my phone so much, I need another lease.
Hey, what's up?
Cease, converter trapping in my sleep. The post be fire too, I need another beat. G, converter talking like a creep. It's been a week, I spent 6 figures on these freaks. You got me weak, now I ain't talking about no cheeks. Shout out to Freaky B, he magic with the beats. Now back to business, I'm almost finished. I price my guys so high that they always forget they sentence. Now picture this, you call my phone, now you can say you winning. And welcome to the team, guess what, this gon' need the beginning. You tryna sell, do tell. I heard you had another buyer, but oh well. Y'all had a plan, but now I'm guessing that it failed. Now welcome home to my converter clientele. You tryna sell, do tell. I heard you had another buyer, but oh well. Y'all had a plan, but now I'm guessing that it failed. Now welcome home to my converter clientele. 365, I'm always open, need another day. So many people getting paid when they around my way. Okay. So many people getting paid when they around my way. Now let's get serious, don't be delirious. I wonder what they pay on that, I'm only being curious. But curiosity, that's what had killed the cat. So in fact, you should call your guy and tell him bring it back. In this case, it's okay to burn the bridge. Your last total was sad, you discouraged. But don't trip, you get paid to junk your equipment. If you live too far, don't worry, you can shift. I make this easy for my customers and clients. I ain't your average type of buyer, I'm reliant. I mean, I'm different, I be buying in the suit. Matter of fact, here's some gas money, I'll pay for your commute. You tryna sell, do tell. I heard you had another buyer, but oh well. Y'all had a plan, but now I'm guessing that it failed. Now welcome home to my converter clientele. You tryna sell, do tell. I heard you had another buyer, but oh well. Y'all had a plan, but now I'm guessing that it failed. Now welcome home to my converter clientele.
Hey man, I got your number off the flyer, man. They said you're paying pretty good money for those catalytic converters.
Yo. What's going on, everybody? This is Afi Kingdom. Happy weekend, happy Sunday. Good evening to all the people. That was the devil that did that. Shout out to Iceberg, Straight G, Trav. Now we back. AV, Command Your Confidence. What's going on, y'all?
Yeah.
What's up? What's up?
Good to be back.
Nice to be back too.
We got a guest coming. We got a guest coming in. So what the hell happened?
Big Rob, what's up, brother?
Yo.
Hey, man, nice to see you again, buddy.
Yeah, man. What's going
living
on?
the dream, keeping busy and everything.
That's what it is. Yeah, man. It's good to be back, man. It's been a minute. Summertime has thrown us off a little bit, but it's good to be back.
Yeah, no, that happens. Yeah, I've been I've been doing a lot of content creation lately. Just doing a lot of researching a lot of stuff, and yeah, it's been busy as fuck.
For sure. Yeah, but that's a good problem. I mean, being busy, doing the things that you want to do that are necessary for your success and your betterment. I think that's very important. So that's what it is, man. That's what's up.
Yeah, exactly, and just like happy to be on show with you and Afi again. Always a blast.
For sure, bro. Yeah, definitely.
My guest is
So,
having trouble. I guess she called me saying, wondered if she got in because she was having trouble getting into the stream today.
okay.
So just kind of waiting to see, wait for that to get taken care of.
Okay. Let me salute everybody. Trav, the Straight G Turo, Iceberg, peace. Brother Love Show. Everybody that's in, man, make sure y'all get the likes up. Make sure y'all share the video. Make sure y'all let everybody know that we on. This is a good topic. Afi's taking care of some things right now. I think this came about from Rob and Afi's conversation. They decided to put me on. So while Afi comes back, you want to let everybody know like how this came about, Rob, and where we're gonna go with it, probably.
Well, so I run this meetup event and everything, and so I told this one girl about my channel I was doing about mindset and
There's
stuff.
a lag.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got you. I could be me. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. And no, she went on my channel and she happened to watch a few videos that you and Afi I did with you and Afi and everything, and she texted me up one time. She's like, I like to go on and talk with those two guys who you talk about the dating stuff with, and she wanted to give her perspective on things. And so yeah, that's how this came about. And I told Afi about it, and like she was stoked about it when I said Afi was cool about doing that, and so.
So
Yeah.
you know this girl?
Yeah, I've known her for like probably I've only seen her, met her like two or three times. I met her like 4th of July weekend at one of my meetup events that I host.
Okay.
And so I met her there. Then I ran into her probably like 2 weeks later at my birthday party. Like,
Happy belated. Okay.
Yeah, it was a birthday party meetup thing that we went to and everything. And yeah, and it was I hadn't really heard from her because I'd just been busy doing a bunch of other shit in my life. And she just randomly hit me up last Sunday morning and invited her onto the show. And yeah.
That's what's up. Yeah, man. I normally don't debate. I don't argue. I don't debate with people. And there's no knock on anybody, but I think it's a good opportunity for us to kind of share our views and our opposing views. So it's a teachable moment for men and women.
Yeah, exactly. I think like, when I talked to her, she just kind of wanted to talk about like, give her perspective on things and everything. And and it's good to have someone else's perspective. And
of course.
And I guess like, when we had trying to figure out a topic, we were talking about like why it's, kind of difficult these days to like for people to have like connections in today's dating world. And it must have been something that we must have talked about during our videos, because I remember she actually left a comment in one of the videos I posted on my channel. And so for something probably struck a chord, and she was just, we talk about dating and stuff, on this channel, and we want to give each other, give our own opinions and everything.
Yeah, and that's when you're doing something right, when it strikes a chord, right? When it strikes a chord, somebody leaves a comment, they go as far as saying, hey, I would love to talk to those other guys, give them a piece of my mind, or just kind of talk about different things, which is important, Yeah,
exactly. I mean, it's because we get both sides. It's good to have two perspectives on things, like a guy, male and female's perspective on things, because it's there's going to be some things that might we might find some similar ground on, but there's going to be other things where there's not going to have that common ground.
Well, like I said, Afi's having some technical difficulties before your friend comes on. I think one of the reasons why people are having a hard time connecting with people is because they kind of don't know what they want or what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. Now, you can't know what you want or don't want until you know who you are, right? So I think people are so busy watching in the bleachers, watching social media, watching other people live their lives, worrying about taking a picture instead of enjoying the moment. It's hard to get a connection with another human being. That's the first step. I mean, so now you're living vicariously through social media. You're living vicariously through the shows on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
And when you turn that off, when you turn off social media and you actually speak to a human being, there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect, and then you get into that bitter phase where you're saying, "Well, this is all bullshit. Those guys don't know what they're talking about," or you get mad at your parents because they led you astray without making you realize that the real world and what you see on social media are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of people that are younger than me were born into this shit. You know what I mean? Us dinosaurs had to learn how to adapt to it. So we kind of have a leg up because, I know how to write a letter. Some people don't even know how to write. Penmanship sucks because they're so busy texting.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons why there's no more connections. And now let's flip that around. Older people now, because they're trying to adapt, they got divorced, or they're now back in the dating scene. Now they're trying to embrace technology that's moving at light speed, and they can't keep up. So they're fumbling miserably. You got old guys out here dressing like hoodlums and young kids. You have young women, older women shopping at Fashion Nova where they have no business shopping at Fashion Nova. So it's all fucked up. People need to hit a reset and, kind of get off the TV, get off the social media, and kind of recalibrate and figure out what they want to do with themselves, so that way they can attract who they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Yeah. Sorry about that. That was the aliens, bro. I don't know what's happening with aliens around here. We got the Polo gang. Know what's up? Look at that coincidence.
We didn't plan it. Polo bomb. You already know.
Oh, I forgot to wear my polo today.
Yeah, it's all good. I was gonna rock the blue cap too, bro, but it's too hot out here. Yeah.
I just got the black cap on because my jeans this color. In case y'all want
to go.
The red hat on, that's the reason why.
Let's go.
Karen, you make it in?
I did, but the camera isn't working in Chrome. It works in regular Google, but I'm not sure what's going on here.
You go to your cam mic settings and see if you can figure that out. There's a cam mic settings in the chat thing. It should be able to help.
Did troubleshoot it. It will not allow. I even looked at the advanced options before I logged into the meeting. The group here, it's just not working.
It's cool. You'll pick it up, and your opinion is what matters the most. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, we'll do it this way from now until I can troubleshoot it later. So.
Okay,
I miss part of the topic. You guys started without me. I feel a little sad.
Yeah. Well, there's pretty much, we were talking about how we were just talking about topic that we were discussing yesterday, why it's difficult to have a connection and stuff in today's world and everything. Then we kind of talked about how how you were coming onto the show and everything. So got you all caught up, so you should be fine.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I heard, now, can you guys, I know you, Rob, but the other two, you could.
Yeah, I'm the bald guy, AV.
AZ?
Yeah, yep. You got it, AV. That stands for Alpha Villains.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then Afi?
Yeah, Afi Kingdom. Just Afi. Okay. That's good. You got that.
Okay. All right. Well, it's nice to meet all of you guys. And
likewise.
Rob, thank you for the invite. I don't know if Rob told you guys how we met and how he told me about his show. And I went to his channel and I saw you guys talking before, and I was like, Rob, that's the show I want to be on. I want to talk about dating, and give the female perspective, because I think my perspective might be different than most ladies, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So.
Well, the floor is yours.
Yep, go ahead.
Oh, already.
Yeah,
all right. I wanted to hear your opinion first.
we gonna hop on the horse that you ride on. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I
works.
see. Okay. Well, first of all, I think the biggest problem is people are searching for someone to make them feel complete, and they aren't whole on their own. You know what I mean? So there's pain in the past and history of emotional traumas that they've never fixed. And so they are looking for someone to heal that when they have to do that themselves. So I think that's one of the issues. Now, it's not all of them, but that's one. Some other issues that I think people face is the fact that they are, obviously the attraction. Some people go after people they should never, ever be dating. There's different levels of attraction. There's, of course, the physical level. You have emotional attraction. For me, my biggest thing is intellectual attraction. I didn't even realize what I wanted years ago. I'm 45 now, and years ago I had no idea what I wanted in a relationship because I didn't even know myself. I had to learn more about myself, and some of that knowledge came from a friend who has her PhD in psychology, and this is when I was living in China, and she said, Karen, your thing is intelligence. Like that's your foreplay. And she was like, if some guy was the biggest nerd and he's speaking to you on this intellectual level, that's what you're drawn to more than anything else. And that was sort of like that was a catalyst conversation for me. It kind of helped me do some soul searching. And so I was able to kind of come to terms with what I was looking for. And I think that's the other problem. Again, people don't even know what they want. So it's kind of like they're just bumping along. They're like, oh, maybe this is a fit. Maybe this is a fit. But there's never a fit because they don't know themselves. They don't know what they're looking for. And they just keep trying by happenstance. Some other things I was telling Rob that, I'm a fanatic when it comes to science. My background, I studied both biology and chemistry in school. And I am currently diving into quantum physics is just something I'm, interested in. And I think science can explain a lot of attraction and even just a lot of things happening in the world. So, that's one factor. Another thing that I think we need to start doing as a society, and again, this is my opinion. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a medical doctor. But one thing that I've noticed, especially now that I'm in my 40s, is that, and it came about once I started, after my son was born, I started to notice things a little bit differently as a mom, looking at the world through the perspective of how men are treated. And I personally think that men are commonly ignored or misunderstood and said to have zero emotions. And I don't believe that's true. I think men are very emotional, and there's psychology that proves it. I was reading recently this from like the Journal of Psychology. Some scientists did research on the limbic region of the brain. And in that research, they found that the amygdala, which is like a cluster of cells at the base of the brain, it's all responsible for emotional regulation. And in men, that region is much larger than in women. And so what that really means is that men are truly emotional and even more emotional by nature in comparison to women. And so it's only by nurture that we tell men that they shouldn't feel, and that we tell women that men don't feel, and that we should treat them accordingly. So I've noticed, again, now that I'm in my 40s and I started dating men in their 40s, I noticed that men in this age group definitely, for me, appear more emotional in comparison to men in their 20s. And I think we need to start taking a more loving and patient approach in our relationships as women when it comes to the men that we're dating. And I think that will kind of shift the dynamic of what we see in the dating pool. So that's kind of it in a nutshell for my opinion.
What's your status? Are you married, relationship, what?
I'm divorced. I I'm single. That's how I met Rob. You know, we were at some singles event, and Rob, being the happiest person in the world, came up to me and we just started chatting. And he was like, "Oh, you have to be on my YouTube show." And I'm like, "What is it about?"
In the
And so
field, we in the field, and it's jungle fever.
what? So no, I'm single. Again, the reason for that is, you know, I don't think it's a lack of meeting people. It's more of me being more picky, more choosy at this point. I don't want to settle anymore. And I think, again, these are all my opinions. I don't have a degree in anything other than biology and chemistry. But I think when it comes to psychology, we are so afraid of being alone, and we don't know how to love ourselves first. And my thing is, if you don't know how to love yourself, how can you teach someone else to love you? It's not even possible. How can you teach that person your value or what you need in order to feel secure enough in a relationship to open up to someone? And I think that's where it all boils down to. So, as AV was saying, some of these women are shopping at the wrong stores, and we have guys and, you know, older guys dressing like children because they are trying so hard to be something they aren't, because they are not reflecting, they're not self-reflecting on who they are internally. You have to fix yourself first before you can find someone to fix. No one can fix you. Let me rephrase that before I even say it. I don't even want it to exit my mouth. No one can fix you. You have to do your own self-healing process. There are people out there who can help guide you through it and be a support system for you. But ultimately, it is up to your own doing to get yourself to the level where you're ready to invite love into your life. Some people aren't even ready, and they want to inflict pain on someone else because they feel pain. You know, there's a lot of aspects out there that I think is taking place that we aren't looking at. You know, so that's, again, I mean, I can go on and on and on about different stuff. You know, one thing that I've been doing recently is meditating a lot. And I would say I started meditating more last year. And the meditation is actually what helped me see this kind of aspect. Again, it kind of helped me just analyze what I was seeing around me. And I noticed I didn't like the treatment I was seeing for men. And it's not just here in this country. I lived in China. I saw the women do it there too. It's the nurture. It's the nurture. We are from birth told boys are not supposed to cry. Boys are not supposed to feel. And girls, we hear that too. So as we get older, and when we are with our significant other, a boyfriend, a husband, and when he's feeling a little bit weak or a little bit less than, instead of us supporting and coming in and saying, "Hey, you know, honey, it's okay, I'm here for you," we make them feel bad and go, "Man up." What the hell does that mean? Man up, you know? So I noticed that men tend to suffer in silence. You have half the population, in my opinion, living in depression or not getting what they need to heal and grow properly. And so with me seeing this way, I am going to teach my son to be more emotionally intelligent. You know, speak about how you feel. Don't let someone trample your emotions down, because then you can't really be the complete person you're supposed to be. Some other things, again, I don't know if you guys are keeping notes. I'm just kind of doing a mind dump here. Compatibility. Again, intellectual compatibility. If I can't talk to someone, if I read a lot, I read more than I watch TV. It's very difficult for me to get through a movie. And so I read tons and tons of stuff. I should show you my book list right now. One of them being Fundamentals by, I think his name is Tim James. It's about, again, I'm starting to dive into quantum physics and particle physics because I feel it really explains everything that's happening around us. And I like reading about metaphysics, so I'm just into everything. And recently I started looking at shadow work. Have you guys heard of shadow work?
No.
No. Okay. So shadow work basically it's almost like healing your inner child. That's kind of an aspect of it. So what you do is you self-reflect, you dive deep down, you look at every single trauma in your past, you try to pull it up, you confront it, you heal it, or you accept the fact that it's part of you and it is who you are. So the shadow work, one video I watched, the way the YouTuber described it, he said it's kind of like if you were throwing out trash, and instead of taking the trash out, you just kind of squished it down, and you keep adding trash on top of trash, but you just push it down and you never really take it out. So you're compacting this, but it never goes away. And so, as he was saying that, it kind of made me think, God, if I did that, my house would smell. You know what I mean? And so it kind of made me think of terms that I hear people talk about, like linguistics, right? We say so many things and we really don't know the origin of them. But how many times have we met someone with a bad personality and we say, God, their personality stinks. So you have all this trash in your inner being that's making your personality stink because you haven't taken it out. So that's shadow work. It's confronting the bad part of you, bringing it, coming to terms with it, and kind of healing from it. Yeah, you guys should probably jump in here because I I could probably talk for hours on this stuff.
Give you the opportunity to express yourself.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but yeah,
Yep.
I don't want to be rude.
You want to hop in and then AV, and then we got a question after this. If you guys want to elaborate on this.
Yeah, that was a lot to unpack. Some things that I noticed that you said. You said a lot of men in their 40s are more emotional from your experiences versus the guys that are in their 20s. Mm-hmm. And I think the reason for that, guys that are older that are realizing that they appear to be more emotional is because they're starting to realize everything that they were taught was a lie. Yeah. And because because as you age, it's harder to rebuild after discovering the lie. Right. So let's say you're a failed marriage, you're paying child support. Now you went from the house. Now you're living into a 1-bedroom studio. It's harder to regain and reclaim your life after that. So this is why they're emotional, because they were never taught how to handle their emotions.
Correct.
We don't encourage men. Everybody, we're human. So we all have emotions. However, the problem is men don't know how to handle and deal with their emotions. See, you also said women, a lot, and this isn't you, this is what I've realized. A lot of women encourage men to heal themselves or to look for therapy or for traumas, confront some traumas. In my experience, I found that a lot of women always encourage men to heal themselves or, kind of fix something in themselves because they equate that to the fact that men don't know how to deal with their emotions. However, in my experience, I realized that a lot of women are always pointing the finger, but they are not taking their own medicine. They are not taking the steps that is needed for them to qualify, for them to tell me that I need to fix my trauma. So as a result of that...
I agree with you 100% there.
Yeah, and again, this isn't to you. This is just my experience. Women are always...
I agree with you. And when you're done with this statement, I'm going to add on to it to support it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So basically, in a nutshell, men and women don't love each other the same way. So women will say that you need to be nurtured, and they equate love to nurturing, but men don't necessarily need nurturing. On the other hand, women need to be nurtured. So again, men and women love differently. So a woman's definition of love is not equivalent to a man's definition of love, and vice versa. So that's why there is a big disconnect. So as a result of that, a lot of times they'll say, okay, let's go to couples therapy. But sometimes that's even bullshit, because the therapist will typically co-sign with the woman. And again, the man is frustrated. He doesn't know what he's doing. So now he's exploding, he's frustrated, and he's just ready to check out because he was never taught. The guys, the 20-year-olds, although they're very immature, there is a plethora of knowledge out there that we were not fortunate to have. So now, even though they're not listening, they have an opportunity to listen and be able to compartmentalize and deal with their emotions differently. That's pretty much it.
That's the people who know how to compartmentalize. Some of them don't. And I think that's where more anger, you'll see these guys with more anger because they can't compartmentalize, or maybe anger just happens as a result of being misunderstood for so very long. And I do agree with you about men loving women differently and pointing the finger. I think that when men love women, especially when they find a woman who they want to protect and they think she's beautiful and she's everything he's wanted, I think men love wholeheartedly. And that's why when that relationship fails, it shatters him. And like you said, it's hard for him to recover. Women, on the other hand, again, going back to that site in the brain that is emotional regulation. I think women, when we love cautiously. You know, I love him, but I need this, I need that. You know, so we love cautiously. And so I almost think that when those relationships split up, especially if there's kids involved, because women will now direct their attention to the children, and men again get kind of pushed, from what I've seen, kind of pushed off to the side and disregarded as he doesn't feel anything anyway. Why should I care?
But
when that's not true.
But you know what you said too, and again, this is this is my experience. Women love cautiously, and what we like to say here in the sphere, opportunistically. That's not a bad thing, right? So I equate caution with opportunity, right?
Exactly. Well, it's similar because remember I was saying that they look for certain. It's almost conditional love. Maybe that might be more of a term that we agree on, that because I feel like we're saying the same thing but using different words.
Right.
For me, I feel like it's a conditional. If he does this, if he comes home at night and he helps me make dinner, he loves me. If. But when a man loves, I think he loves totally. I think it's completely different.
Right, and that can be a dangerous thing. And as a result of that, this is why content like this, we continue to do this. This is one very small facet of what message we're trying to convey. But at the end of the day, if there is equality, right, there is a desire for equality, and we understand now that women love cautiously, conditionally, opportunistically, we are encouraging men to not only enter a relationship with that same mindset, but also take some of that love and apply it to your goddamn self. Because women, if I no longer meet those conditions and those the checklist that we had initially, because I'm tired and I realize that it's all bullshit, you can move on and find somebody else who can do that. But me, because I was programmed to love wholeheartedly, I kind of lost myself in that process. And this is what we're trying to teach men to avoid.
And I don't think you can avoid it. I think we need to change society's perspective. There's no way to avoid that. I think the approach that men have in love is more correct. If you love wholeheartedly, I think it's our upbringing. This is going to be a paradigm shift that will have to take time. This isn't something that's going to happen overnight or even in the next 5 years. I think if we are parents, or we need to start to pitch this idea that it is okay for men to feel and express emotion, and that they do have these emotional needs that are commonly overlooked, and it needs to be stopped from birth. The one thing that you said, AV, about pointing the finger, it kind of goes back to a lesson that my dad taught me. My dad was such an intelligent guy, and I still live by so many life lessons that he gave me. And this one in particular was about placing the blame. And I remember I was fighting with my sister, and I was I was so angry. I just wanted to kill her. And I remember sitting on my dad's lap crying, and I hate her. I hate her. And he asked me to tell him what was wrong. And I went on and I told him what she had done to upset me so much, because I thought if I convinced my father well enough, he would punish her. Instead, he gave me the best life lesson I've ever had, one of the best that he's given me. He said, honey, do me a favor, point your finger, and you guys could do this if you want. He just kind of as a visual so that you can see where I'm going with this. So if you point your finger and you hold it in the position to actually point, you'll see that there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. And so my father told me that every time you blame someone, you are 3 times as likely. There are 3 fingers pointing back at you. So you need to assess that situation and find out what you've done wrong. What is your responsibility in that situation? Because it is a good chance that you are 3 times more likely to blame than the person you're blaming. So whenever I look at any relationship, whether it's a neighborly one, a friend, a romantic one, a work-related relationship, if there's ever confusion, discrepancy, some type of misunderstanding, I always assess that situation. I never give a knee-jerk reaction. I go away, I think about it, I come back in a time where we both have the opportunity to talk and think through the conversation. And I always try to be rational. So I always look at what I could have done differently. So I think that keeps me kind of calm in a way.
You went low, Rob. What you got to say, brother? Before I read this question, what you got on your mind, bro?
Okay, well, going back to what you were saying about like a lot of people like having a disconnect, or hard to like have, why it's hard to have connections, because I think we do have a disconnect with ourselves. I do see that because like, before I really started to take the time to get to know myself and everything, I was pretty much, classifying myself based off everything that was going on in the world and what I thought was expected as me as a person. And then I kind of realized that too, that shit didn't get me anywhere. And it just kind of led me down a path where I just felt confused. And I really was at a point one time where I was just like, oh, fuck, I don't, it's getting super frustrated because I felt like I had to live up to other people's expectations and everything.
Correct.
And when I kind of took a step back and kind of practiced some better, habits that, more focus on me, and, it took time to get to know myself, like it really helped me become, more confident as a person. And I just really didn't start to care what other people thought. I was more comfortable with being me. Like I could just, like I had a hard time, like, even when certain social situations at first, this saying, because I'm a very funny guy and I say all this weird and unique shit sometimes.
That's true.
Yeah. And so I had a hard time letting that out because I was worried about what, the other, people were going to think of me. And I just slowly had over time just learned how to deal with that and just say like, fuck it. I got to just fucking do it and be me. Like I don't like, I'm at a point right now in my life where I got a lot of shit going on. And, when it comes to my dating life or meeting someone, I just don't, if they're not going to, I'm just very authentic, right? I'm straight to the point with them right away. And if they're not, if they don't like that, because I just can't waste my time. And I'm at a point where I know what I want. And, I'm getting to a point where I'm believing in myself more as a person to where I could, take it or leave it. And because I kind of know what I fucking want.
Yeah, and as you should. And that's the other thing. I'm glad that you said that. Being straight to the point. I'm so transparent. I will know if I meet someone and I might go out with them a couple times. I will know after the second date if I want to spend any additional time with him or not. And I cut it fast. And the reason I do that is for a couple of reasons, because I don't ever want to mislead anyone. It's wrong. I don't like using people. I think, again, another thing that women do, and women need to stop this. They need to stop using men for stuff. It is rotten, and they don't want to be used, but they will have a man take them out to dine out and buy them things, knowing damn well they don't like them. And so when I get to the point where I see that there's no future, I cut it short immediately, and I do it in a manner where it's very tactful so that I don't destroy his ego, because I don't understand, again, another reason why in relationships, if some people just feel like they want to hurt others and they leave a path of destruction. And for me, I think that means that deep down that they hate themselves. So they want to bring misery to others. And see, for me, you know, Rob has met me twice in person. He sees my shiny personality. He knows I'm always happy and smiley, and you know, so it's.
Is that the truth, Rob?
What?
Is that the truth?
Yeah, that's the truth. That is.
I'm so positive, man. I'm so positive. The first night Rob and I met, we were at Casa Amigos. Now, are you two? Are you Avi and Av in the Phoenix area? Where are you guys at?
I'm in Miami.
I'm
Okay.
in California.
California. Okay. So I met Rob at this singles event at this club. I thought it was a restaurant. So I'm again, I'm kind of nerdy, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't go clubbing. Right. So I got to this place and I'm like, the music is pounding, there's people everywhere, and I'm like, holy crap. And you know, Rob was
umbrella in with you to the bar too. I remember that.
One more time.
I remember you had to put your umbrella away and shit.
Say one more time. You did what?
Receipts.
Didn't you bring like an umbrella or something?
Oh yeah. Because it was raining, man. I told you I was a nerd.
Well, it wasn't that bad.
I'm a nerd, dude. I'm a nerd. I do weird things. But what do you call that? This one guy was talking to me and he was like, "You must have had a really good day. You're just so happy." And I said, "I am always like this. I am always positive. I'm always happy. This is my normal get up and go." And you know, like I said, I've met Rob twice at these events. Just didn't know he was going to be there. Just ran into him, and he can vouch for me. He knows that I'm always, you know, genuinely a happy and positive person. So I think that's another thing that attracts people to you, is just being so confident and content with yourself. When you get to that point where you can say, I don't give a damn about what other people are thinking. You either take it or leave it. Then I think you're at a higher level. You're vibrating on a higher level. You know, you accept it yourself, so other people are now invited to accept you as well.
Ooh-wee.
Look at that.
The connection between you.
Brother Love Show.
We got a number 3. It's been 2 times. It needs to be another.
Coffee's a singer, huh? Do I
Yeah,
need
he
to
does
join in and
sing.
sing with you? I'm finishing up my granola bar.
You don't want me to start saying my talents, because
Please.
it's too
He's
much.
very good.
This was a good question right here from Iceberg. As always, though, I wanted to address it. He says, "Do women?" Actually, I kind of want to know the answer too. Hopefully, you can keep it all the way 100. Let's see. You might don't want to say it because Rob is here. You don't want to say it.
That's all good. We're all authentic, man.
You said,
All about
so
authenticity.
the question is, do women know male nature and choose to ignore it? Because we always talk about this, like women always ask them what they want, but they don't never say what they about to do. Just facts. So, do women know male nature and choose to ignore it and hope to do it their way, despite what they have isn't in sync with male nature, or do they genuinely not know? I
think it's a combination of both. Because I'm gonna tell you, I'm sorry, I need to quit eating and talking. I think some women are just pure airheads. I'm sorry. I don't think they know. And then you have your other women Stop it, brother love show. I'm gonna come wherever you are and hurt you.
Wait, you gotta, Rob. You don't know. Look, if you want her for reals, bro, you missed this. You missed this memo. If you want Karen for real, there's only one thing you gotta do, bro. That's the reason why it should have been 10 times already. You gotta.
What?
She has to sing to you in the '90s. That's how you get
Mm.
everything you want.
I gotta
What am I
what?
missing?
Sing?
What
I
am I
gotta
missing here?
sing?
Instead of saying, "Hey, let's go out to dinner," you say, "I want to show you my
I'm
good
seeing someone.
over
I'm
you."
seeing someone, but I'm still single, so that can't happen right now.
You gotta, because it don't matter what you are. If you sing it from the '90s, dreams come true. That's why I got all these chicks, because I just sing to them
I gotta keep that in mind. New skill, sing the '90s. There you go.
in the '90s.
You got a little dance too.
You gotta say, "I miss you when you touch everything." Candy. I'm trying
I
to
got a
y'all
little
laugh.
Latin
I'm trying
dance,
to
but I
tell y'all
can't do it on screen.
Okay, we need that question to go back up so I can answer it. I think some women truly don't know. I really think they don't. Again, that goes back to them not knowing themselves and knowing what they need to be happy, right? So you know that language of love test, that little quiz where it gives you 5 different love languages. It's like touch, spending time, getting gifts, acts of service, and I think words of affirmation. You guys, I don't know if you know that
I know that. I remember
test
that
or not.
part.
Yeah, if you know that test. So I think some people aren't aware of what. I mean, they don't have a clue. They don't know what they need. They don't know what they want. So they're kind of, it's like a buckshot. They're just shooting in the dark and they're just hitting whatever they hit, but they're not hitting their target. So that's where it goes to them not knowing. But then you have your women who are kind of like, yeah, they know exactly what they're doing. They're calculating and they're almost like professional in their nature.
That's Affy hits.
So it's like they know exactly what they're doing. They know they're using guys. They know what they're doing. And this is why I said they need to stop. They need to stop. And if you get to the point and see men, you gotta also men, I can, and this is again my opinion. I keep starting with this little disclaimer. Sometimes you guys go after women you should never even be going near, let alone chasing them. And then she might be giving you the cold shoulder, but you keep going. And in this point, she's like, fuck it. I'm gonna take what I can get. And again, I'm dealing with this situation now. I have a connection to this one guy who I like, but there's a different guy who, I told him I just want to be a friend, and he keeps sending these little, and I'm at the point where, okay, now I have to really spell it out for him because he doesn't seem to know how to.
Now, was this the guy you were telling me about in your text message last week when you reached out to me?
The one I told to go F himself? No, that was a different guy. No, that was a different guy.
That was a different guy.
Yeah, like
we are in rotations. There's no this.
And you know what, Afi, now that
she is not
now that
you're in a rotation.
Now that I brought that up, something comes to mind though. Like it seems like, but when you texted me about that, it seems like something with that incident, like kind of that made you want to come on the show here and talk about this.
Exactly, because of that. And you're right. I'm glad you brought that up, because what I noticed about him is this. Okay, now this is now me kind of talking about guys and what they go after. You have, and I haven't really touched on this part yet. I've been touching a lot on how women aren't always pure in their approach, right? There's an ulterior motive, right? Same with guys. Some guys strictly only want one thing. We all know this. It's not a secret. So that particular guy, you
what we want.
What?
So is that the one thing? I know it's not. So
Afi is crazy. I'm gonna have to go to California and clonk him on the head. But we going fisticuffs, buddy. And AB is just shaking his head down there. He's like, I don't even know what to say. But you know, this guy, you saw him, right? And you saw him at that singles event, right? You saw him.
Well, briefly, I mean, it was like my birthday thing, so I was like super smammered that night because I was getting free alcohol all night.
Okay,
but I think I remember him.
Anyway, that guy was a sleazeball. We never even made it past meeting that night because he was such a sleazeball. I was just like, I'm sorry, this is what you want and what I'm looking for are way two different things. And I said, I finished up basically the last text that I sent to him was, you keep banging, what did I tell him? You keep banging skanks, and I'm going to wait for my gentleman patiently. That's what so that's what I said, you know. So I said, you want something that I cannot give to you, and I'm not going to do all that. So that's why I had to kick him to the curb. And again, like I said earlier,
very, like perverted about it because when you say sleazeball, it makes it sound like it was.
He was horrible. He was one of the worst guys I've ever met in my hit. He some of the stuff that he did that night, I was just like, dude, are you not well in the freaking head? Yeah.
Well, you get people like that at meetups sometimes.
Yeah. So all I know is that I talked to him that night, and it didn't go beyond that sandbar because he was just too much. He probably should be in therapy because there's something really wired wrong with this guy, really bad. But like I was saying, I will meet people. You know, dating is a numbers game, unfortunately. So you do need to meet as many people as possible and see who you connect with, but you can't take everyone home, because the problem with doing that is when you only look for a physical connection, then you lose sight of finding the special people, that special person. So I think the physical connection should always be the last connection. You should try to connect, you know, spiritually, emotionally, intellectually first. And if you connect on all those levels, then sure, physical connection should come into play, because you have to see if you're compatible sexually. And I'm very open about that too. If I'm into some guy, I will flat out ask him, how are you in bed? I will ask him, how many times a week are you expecting sex? Because if we are not on the same page, then I don't want anything to do with it. You know, so, and I think that's another thing that we don't talk about. Americans are so uptight when it comes to intimacy. And we often say that relationships fail because of a lack of communication, a lack, you know, financial issues, or we don't agree with how the children are being raised. I think, and this is only one aspect, okay? Of course, relationships fail for multiple reasons, not just one. But I think if you're very compatible sexually, if you have a fight, you're going to go to bed at night and you're going to make up. And then you reset the slate the next day.
Let me jump in. Let me jump in. And I like what you're saying, Karen. I mean, you know, I'm an older guy. I like what you're saying, and this is no knock on what you're saying, because I agree with what you're saying. However, it seems dated, because of the way society is being ran now. Promiscuity, sex is not a big deal. You have women in their 40s, out of a divorce or what have you, trying to reclaim their youth, sexualizing themselves, dressing promiscuously, going through these phases to revalidate themselves. This is why men are talking to women this way, because for the most part out there, women are just giving it away free. It's never been easier to be intimate with someone because of feminism. Feminism promotes this. Now, they promote women are incentivized to do this. You go, girl, go do your thing, girl. Fuck him, girl, whatever, girl. So now Men are aware of this. So there's a big sector of men that are taking advantage of this and adding to their notch counts and giving women what they want. And there's another group of men who are past that, who had a huge notch count, but on another level, and we see right through all of this. So now we look at this, we're watching from the bleachers, looking at all women, most women act a fool, and it turns us off because we are aware that this is not something that we want to, we would consider taking seriously. So at the end of the day, women, you know, you talk about compatibility, you talk about sex, how many times you like sex. Sex fades up and down, number one. Number two, sex is easy. So when a woman, in my opinion, when a woman wants to vet a man, she has to really see where his mind is and where he is going. Because you said you're a sapiosexual, you can be physically attracted to somebody, or he could be physically attractive, but if he has all the other markers, that level of intimacy will be that much better because he has touched those other markers that a normal physical attracted dude probably can't touch.
Yep. And that's why for me, intellect is the number one thing. Because as you said, sex goes up and down and looks fade. You know.
But let me ask you this though, real quick, Rob. Let me ask you this. And this is to you, or for the most part, in my experience, a lot of women in our age bracket say that intellect, he goes to church, he likes his mom, he loves his kids, is a priority. But when women are typically in their prime, intellect is the last thing they were looking for, even if you were a nerd, right? And again, this isn't you per se, but what I'm saying is, as time passes, requirements change.
Oh,
so it sounds awesome on paper. Hey, I want a smart dude. But did you want a smart dude when you were the prom queen? No. When you were in college, were you looking for the smart dude? Maybe to help you with your homework. Well,
I'm unique. Right. And you got to remember, I said some of these women out here aren't living right. And you nailed it when you said there is this like female perspective and they can be like a guy. Well, I'm sorry, honey. You will never be a man. Stop it. You know, so when I was younger, I was in all honors classes. So I always went after the nerds. But that's just me, you know. So that's just how
different.
Yep, that's just my cup of tea. Again, my thing is being able to talk to someone. And the reason why I seek that is because I know with time these things fade. I know with time sex is not going to be where it used to be when you first got together and everything was so fiery, you just couldn't get enough of each other.
Right.
But the reason why I said you need to bond intellectually, emotionally, spiritually first is because when you do take a dive in that, in the sexual part, then you still like being together. You still like being in each other's presence. You know, you can go out and go to the museum or do nothing but sit home on the couch and watch TV and still have a great time when you connect.
You know, when you reach a certain status, or when you're in a purgatory stage of your.
You got to say something too.
Sorry, Rob. Real quick. When you're in a particular stage or an age bracket, when you're on your purpose, you're on your mission, you're focused on things, sex becomes a hindrance, a chore, because it's taking away from your thing, and the need that would typically, the itch that would scratch, sex would typically scratch, would be scratched by something else of creating, doing something more successful. So at the end of the day, man, women in our age bracket, or any women for that matter, if a man who is overly sexualized in this age bracket, he doesn't have a lot of shit going on. Because real talk, I mean, listen, this intimacy and having sex is important. Let's not get it twisted. But if he's focused, if that's his number one thing, typically he's lacking in other areas that are equally, if not more important, for the success and the duration of the relationship you guys are looking for. But go ahead, Rob. I'm sorry, man.
No, now I got to touch base on the last comment you made, because that is so true. Like, because I at one point, that's, that was just my primary focus, was just trying to meet as many girls as I can. I didn't really give a shit about it. Just go do my job, like get home from work, hey, go watch some TV. Then I'm just gonna go hit on these girls on these dating apps and stuff. Or I wanted, I'll go out and, just meet some girls, what the hell? And that's all I cared about. I made that a focus, but I realized you know, when you make that a focus, you know, it's going to come out. You're going to come off as, you know, being too try hard and being needy at the same time. But then when I shifted my, you know, when I started working on, you know, doing like my business more on the side, and then, you know, getting on YouTube and creating content and working on a book, you know, I looked at like, you know, yeah, I was meeting more girls both online and in public, but at the same time, like I didn't give a fuck. Like I said, if, you know, there was a last minute cancellation because it was a hindrance for me, like this with my time, because I value, you know, working on, you know, I don't want, I'm not saying going on dates is a waste of my time, but I've learned to value more things that I want for myself rather than, you know, just sex and dating. And no, so that was cool. And then you mentioned something earlier, alpha villains. You mentioned like, you know, guys having markers. Did you mean like achievements or?
Yeah, they want as many girls as they can get with. That's what he meant.
Okay.
Now, hey, Gabrielle, shout out to King Drake. Gabrielle, I just made a video today about dating women overseas. Maybe about 45 minutes before the stream started. It's like about 5 minutes. You might want to check that out. And King Dre, you want to check it out too because you the one who inspired the video. It was your question. You need to watch that one. Go ahead.
Yeah.
A lot of dudes know that I get pussy or not focused. They know game, so they don't care about that. They just want to fuck and have the spoils most men don't have.
What does that mean? Okay, so I'm not following some of this stuff.
Tell you.
Some of these guys.
Trav,
some of these guys, I can't even follow what they're saying. It don't make sense.
Trav, you want to come join? Hold on, a lot of dudes. Hold on, let me read the bottom half. Men are working on their purpose, thinking that gets them sex. Not focused players know that women get
Skeleton. It looks like a laugh emoji and skeletons.
It's yeah, I don't get it.
Well, if he say he want to talk, he's right down there. JW says, "How can a guy be optimized if he's constantly chasing tails? Not possible."
I agree with Jonathan. He's making sense. I can follow that logic.
No, Jonathan.
She likes Jonathan. She don't like you, Trav.
No, I don't understand what he's saying. It's not that I dislike him. I can't follow what he said.
She don't like you, Trav.
You're trouble.
There you go.
She don't like you.
Yeah, so yeah, I agree with you, Jonathan. It is after the honeymoon phase is over. That's why I stand by what I said about meeting on those other levels first. You know, I think too many people jump in. I think too many people are physical before they even know the person they're with. And then when that honeymoon phase is over and all the passionate sex is over, you don't have anything to connect to because you didn't take time to learn the person you were with. You don't even like them.
And it's interesting you brought this up too, because I'm actually going to be releasing a video. I was working on a video today that I'm going to post on my channel, like why you should not rush into a relationship with someone you meet, because it all starts out with that. Yeah, when you first meet, you have this big fucking Disney moment. You know, the sex is great, and you think that person's the best thing. And then I think most people are blinded by their emotions, and therefore they fail to get to know the person. And you know, like a couple weeks later or a couple months, you know, they're disappointed because they found that person was something totally different, or you know, they don't break out of that phase, and that person is, you know, not for them, and they manipulate them, and they can't see that person's manipulating them and destroying their lives. And I know someone, you know, very close to me who you know, met a girl on a dating app, and he's married to her now, and this girl is like totally abusive towards him.
That's sad.
And he's still like in a relationship with this person, and like they got a divorce, and like they're gonna get remarried again. And he's I
mean, it goes both ways. It goes both ways. You have abuse in either direction, and I think that happens when the abusee has either low self-esteem or low self-worth. You know, so they don't.
I think that's the problem. You know.
So it can go either way. If he doesn't feel that he this is why in the beginning, you remember in the very, very beginning, hello, in the very beginning, I said that, we need to know what we need and our wants. And if we don't know how to love ourselves, then we can't teach someone how to love us or give us what we need. We don't know our own language of love.
Cool. Hey, Iceberg, I see this question, but I don't understand it. It says, "What do you believe, but you cannot prove?" I don't understand the question. What's going on, Trav, bro?
Oh,
Okay,
shoot.
so this is Travis.
Yeah, this is me. I was saying the question. This is what I was saying. I was saying that I know a lot of guys growing up who didn't care about
I
school.
told you to grow that beard 2 years ago. You don't want to listen to me. Now you out here.
It looks good.
I was gonna comment on that too. I was gonna comment on that too,
You're
but
getting the beard off. Yeah, I told you that shit like 2 years ago.
I was gonna say something.
Buddy, I'm still getting to it. Everyone likes it. But I'm still like,
don't shave it. Don't shave it, boy.
Yeah,
Let's go.
everyone likes it. Though.
Yeah, they
No, it looks good. It looks good.
They're just feeling the beard off. I told you that shit in 2000.
I told you it would look good. I just said I don't know if I'll be comfortable with it. I'm still
Let's
not
go.
comfortable with it.
Let it rock. Let it rock. Let's go.
No, so what I'm saying is when I was growing up, like I said, I came from a very structured, good home. Like mom and dad were together, no cheating, no drama. Like we never thought the only reason why my parents aren't together is my father passed away. Other than that, they'd still be together right now. So I thought that that's how normal people are. When I got into high school and stuff, I got shell shocked at times because I was like, I saw how unnormal my house was, even though it was normal. Like most of the guys that I know that were getting women in high school were not focused, were in the streets, were just fun. That's all they were. They weren't getting good grades. They didn't care about nothing. They just had swag. That's all the women wanted in high school. They didn't care about that. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know what I mean? I think later in life, they get burned after a while, and then they might smarten up. But a lot of women, in my experience, like when I started getting women, when I didn't get women before, yeah, I catted off on some stuff because I was like, oh, I don't have to do all this to get women. I was like, shoot, I'm going to do this. Most guys that are trying so hard to go to college, to do the right thing, secretly it's because to get women, they are told by society that's what's going to get it, to be a responsible man and do this and that. It's the quiet opposite, though, a lot of times, because women don't even know what they want. So that's where the frustration comes in when you figure this out, because you're like, damn, I was lied to my whole life.
But do you think it's okay? So do you think it's when they're young and they're kind of just out of control?
They're doing that at 30, 40 years old. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's disgusting.
Age and maturity are two different things. And in this society, these phones have made everybody the same and immature. That's what's happening.
Too bad. Yeah, and that's what I'm seeing too. And the one thing that AV said was that I kind of have like this old approach, and even Rob, when we were at the last singles meetup, Rob was like, "You're pretty classy," and I was like, I guess I try. I don't know, but I think I'm old fashioned. My parents, my parents were very old fashioned, where my dad would tell me, and I'm don't forget your train of thought there, Travis. I want to make sure.
No, I'm not. Trust me.
I just want to say this last statement. My father used to always say, a woman should sit a certain way, or a woman should be seen and not heard, or a lady. They wouldn't even let us use the word woman. They were so particular. You're a lady, so you are classy. And so I think, again, too, that's why I gravitate toward dating older guys, because older guys still have that sense of chivalry where they will open the door for you. They have respect for you, and you have that one-on-one, like, monogamous relationship. I did, to be honest with you, Travis, when you said these women in their 30s and 40s are doing this, I imagine 20 and 30s, but I didn't think that it was so easy for men to just sleep around like they are. So that's the part where I'm a little bit naive.
True.
That's where but again, it's terrible. It's terrible. So then in that case, how does anyone have a real relationship anymore? If you can just go out there and it's all physical in nature, you don't ever have to take the time to really get to know anyone.
Let me say one thing. I'm telling you right now, we've been talking for 1 hour and 10 minutes. If you guys like to stream and appreciate the game, you guys need to drop a fucking super chat, bro. Fuck that.
Facts.
What we gotta be up here arguing and shit? Then that's good.
This is some great content.
That's something. If we was up in here getting into it with her, then that would be worth it. Yeah, $20, get her.
Oh, they want to see some Jerry Springer stuff.
Yeah,
that's how a lot of people on YouTube are. They want the low hanging fruit. They don't want like
Facts.
they don't want a lot of high intelligence stuff you really need. A lot of people don't want that. They just want the crap. Like,
And that's why I said for me, even though and again I keep going back to Rob and him like vouching for me. He sees the attention I get when I go out. He sees that. But it doesn't go too much beyond initial meetings because I can see very clearly that the person isn't a match for me. And I don't want to be involved with someone unless I can connect with them on a deeper level first, so I think that's where I didn't realize that women were so out there. That's just disgusting. I don't get that.
So let me come in real quick because I don't want to make this point because you're saying stuff that my mom used to tell me that made me strike out with women. You're saying the exact same stuff. Like my mom would tell me all the stuff that's right on paper and I would listen. And I think it worked for my mom because our household was very stable. And I noticed a lot of households around me were not stable. But the stuff that she told me to do, it wouldn't work. And then I would see my friends who knew game do the total opposite of what you should do or do things I thought were rude or unnecessary or was counterintuitive to male logic, but it worked. And I was like, it worked over and over. And with all different types of women, ones I thought were special or just as doing the same thing. And then when I learned the game, then I realized that a lot of these women put on good masks, but behind that, they're broken. There's so many women that on the outside
that's the key, Travis. They're broken. And remember, that was the very first point I said in the beginning, is that people are so broken, and that's why they do this. They don't know how to love themselves first. So it's like shooting, and I'm repeating myself now, is like shooting in the dark. And you have all these buckshots flying everywhere, and you're just hitting different things, but you're never really hitting the target. You're never, ever happy because you are not complete yourself. You have not taken time to heal yourself before you went out looking for someone to validate you.
Let me
people are trying to get validated.
Shout out to Tina Love. I appreciate you, Tina, for the super chat. Sexual attraction. A lot of good men don't sexually arouse women. That's facts. Shout out to Love and Mahogany. I see y'all just came in here.
Peace. Let me piggyback on what Trav and Karen said. Trav said something very important, and I kind of alluded to that earlier. That what Karen is saying, I agree with. It sounds great. I'd love it for it to be that way, but it's a little bit dated. Mm-hmm. And in my experience, based on the way society is right now, women punish those who love them and reward the ones who don't. Fact. And as a result of that, they are broke. Hold on. And the reason why, Karen, is because they are broken. But women expect me to fix something I didn't break.
Exactly. That's the point. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So one last thing. So men are not required to heal a heart they did not break. It is a woman's responsibility to heal the heart that was broken from a poor decision that she made prior to me. Yes. Once she's done that, then we could talk about connecting on the level you're looking for.
Correct. Good. And we're saying the same thing, AV. The whole point is these people are broken from past pain. Remember the shadow work. Right. Just even using meditation just to understand and just think deeply. And yes, you're right. Maybe what I'm saying is outdated, but the reason I'm saying it is because I feel like we need to bring that back.
For sure.
You know what I mean? It may be outdated, but it's not working. Too many people are broken and we're not getting any better. And everyone wants to dabble in love, but no one ever wants to truly surrender. And that's a problem. That's a problem.
You first, I'll follow.
I will do it, baby. Bring it on. I have no problem surrendering. Look, I finally met some guy who I like. He's highly intelligent. I always tell him, you're the biggest freaking nerd I ever met. I totally love it. And you know what I told him? We were at dinner last week and I told him this. I said, I have no idea where this is going to go. But while we have this connection, I'm going to love you completely and throw everything at you, and I'm not going to hold back. And if I get hurt in the end, I do. Because if I don't surrender, someone has to jump first. If we're both cautious, how do we fall? Someone has to jump first, and I am willing to take a dive, and I don't care if I get hurt because I want to change my path in my love life. And that's the only way I'm going to do it. I have to kill the old and get with the new.
Hey, let me get Millie's comment real quick. She said, if she ain't like you, she will play with you, point blank. Go where you appreciate and won't be no game. Why waste on people who don't like or want you? Thank you, Millie. You want to join? So we can have one more 2 against 4.
Millie's on point with that, and that's what I was talking about with men chasing women that don't like them. When a woman doesn't like you, she's going to show you need to back up. Just back up. Because I've seen men go after women just because they think she's pretty. I just got to have her. Why? She's just going to play with you now. You're hurting yourself. So it goes both ways. You know? And so we have to get to the point where another thing I haven't brought up. And I wonder, this is, in my opinion, a good point. Too many of us think we can change people. You cannot change anyone. Don't even try it. I don't get that. So what I have a tendency to do is I am a firm believer in accepting people for who they are and where they are, not who I want them to be and where I want them to be. If when I meet them, they're not at the level that I want them to be at, they'll be my friend. Some friends I can't even be around. If I can't even connect with them on a friend level, I will cut them out of my life. But I don't ever go into any type of relationship, friend, romantic, whatever. I never go in thinking that I'm going to change him.
Well, people do think that, though.
I know, and
that's what I'm saying. I've been in relationships like that.
Thank you, Bob Freezy, too, for that super chat. I don't know.
And that's sad. Like, and I see some people who they do because they don't like themselves and they're not confident in themselves. They'll change for the girl, and they end up being miserable. Like, I'll lose touch with them because, like, I remember, like, I had this one friend, very cool guy, and then he dated this, like, very hardcore religious girl, and like he got into it, and then like he didn't like the type of people my friends and I were, and he stopped hanging out with us because of this girl. And then like it was funny because like my buddy, he owns his own barbershop back in Michigan. He cuts hair, and this same guy walked in with that same girl, and the girl was just like telling him how to get the haircut and being bossy towards him, and and it's just sad that some people like
he might have liked that though, Rob. Some men like them dominating.
Some men do. Yeah.
Oh,
they might be like, she taking care of me here and at home. She gonna whip me with the whip.
It's so true. I mean, I used to think too that I could change people, even like help friends with situations. But I realized like probably like in my late 20s, like someone comes to me with a problem, and I'll give them my 10 cents, but they come to me to the same problem all the time. I just can't help them out, like, because like you're not going to change. And I realize I'll just give them advice, but I don't have the intention to ever change someone. Like my last relationship I was in, probably back, when I moved, just right when I moved out here, the girl that I was with was trying to change me, and I didn't want to change myself for her, and that caused her to like want to break up with me.
And you dodged a bullet.
I did.
Let her go.
It's weird. And the funny thing was like,
Rob with the piano bars. Let's go.
But the funny thing was that, so like we had when I moved out, when I moved into my own place and shit, like, you know, I was like, I still hung out with the girl a bit, but then I started talking to other girls, and then it started like to the point where I wouldn't see her as much. It'd be like every couple months, and then like she just blow up my phone, you know. And recently, actually, just like a couple weeks, no, about a month ago, I just said, you know, because I just was ignoring her requests or saying I was too busy. I just said to her, like, listen, you know, you're a cool person, but I just don't have the time, you know, to hang out with you, and I kind of want to move forward in my life.
Good for you. And that's exactly, and that top cast guy point, that's so, I mean, really, like, perfectly said. Perfectly said. Just display your confidence. If she's not into you, let her go.
Yeah,
Stop.
I like that. That's true.
Let her go.
Yeah,
It's time. If you're wasting time with the wrong person, then how are you going to be open for when the right person comes? You cannot hook up with everyone. It's not enough time in the world. You know, so, but yeah.
If you want to say something, let me know. Go ahead.
I think like my thing too is even in a normal relationship like this, a lot of it is just geared towards women, and and the benefits for men are just outweighed by the benefits for women. And that's the thing. Like a lot of guys will deal with that because they want consistent sex.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, most guys get into a relationship not because they love the woman, it's because they want consistent pee. That's what I've seen. Because I've seen a lot of guys be in relationships and change themselves or deal with behavior they normally wouldn't, but it's because they got something to hit at night. Like, I don't subscribe to that at all. Like, I guess I've never needed a relationship to have sex consistently. So if I'm in a relationship, that's because I really like this person. There's something I see. It's not going to be about sex. But I think because that's the normal dynamic, women have taken chivalry and turned it into them being entitled. There's not appreciation for normal things. It's required. And then now that you have these phones, now they're seeing all different people live at different standards. Now they want that standard they see on one Instagram account that's totally unrealistic or not in reality with most of the, if you look at it. Like even in the United States, only 10% of the population makes over $100,000, but everybody wants a million. You know what I mean? So we're not realistic about what we want. And I think women live too much in a fantasy land right now. It's too much fantasy.
Some men too, though. Some men too. I think society.
I'm talking about strong men, not weak men.
Okay. Strong. Yep. And I'm glad you said that. And that's another thing. Strong men. You have to, when you do find a strong woman, sometimes men can't handle that. But if you are a strong man and you can handle a strong, independent woman, just think about, you will become a power couple. Think about how you will grow and achieve together. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I want to touch on that after you're done, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that I think for the most part, when we do find, you know, like Travis was saying, he never really needed to be in a relationship to have sex. And when he does enter a relationship, it's because this lady is truly special to him. So I guess what I'm saying in a nutshell is that when you do find that lady, and, you know, some men struggle with having a woman who is independent to the point where maybe he might feel less of a man because he might feel like, okay, she can take complete care of herself. What am I here for? And that's just an insecurity. You know, that's just insecurity rising up, and it should not be there. And that's one of the things that if you take the time to go into a self-love, like self-improvement phase, or whatever you want to call it, some kind of transition in your life where you're learning to care for yourself, you can get rid of these poor self-images and the insecurities or the fear of not feeling worthy of love. And I think too many people suffer from that. Again, it's that brokenness that we keep revisiting.
You said something very important. You said that a lot of men get intimidated by strong women. The problem with that is that, in my view, I think men allow, in a healthy relationship, men and women have to embrace their strengths according to their gender. Not to say that a woman cannot do what a man can do scholastically or academically, but you know, based on the fact of our genders and our physiological, you know, attributes, men and women are different. So,
Absolutely.
okay, so now we have to encourage women to be at their strongest and at their peak in what they were designed to do and what their strengths are. Also with men. So that way there is a balance. A lot of times women will say, he can't handle you, girl, because you're a strong woman. But the thing is, the problem with that is it's not necessarily that we don't want to handle it, we can't handle it, we just don't want to handle it. Listen, real men are drawn to feminine women. Real men are drawn to masculine men. Real men are repelled by masculine women. Real men are repelled by feminine men. There's a reason why I think, and again, this is my view, but my point is a woman would rather leave some of the things that she could be better at and try to outshine a man to prove to him that she don't need no man and leave the other things unattended. And so now a man is looking at you like, okay, well, why aren't you doing this? What you're good at, and allow me to do what I need to do so we can complement each other. It is not a competition. It is a complement to each other. Yin and the yang. But again, the reason why society is encouraging women to do this is because there is more money in the disease. There's more money in the divorces. There's more money in the child support. Right. So there is more value to the powers that be in division versus unity. Because why? We are stronger when we're united. And when we're strong, when we're united, you can't control us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, so you're
that's
right.
What it is.
And it's a valid point, because think about how I was saying earlier, how I feel that some men, and I don't want to generalize, but I feel that some men suffer in silence and they are depressed after, you know, a breakup. It's like shattered them.
Many men do. Many men do.
And so that's where more money, because now you have antidepressants and things like that. Or if they don't medicate with a prescription, they'll medicate with alcohol. They'll medicate with porn. They'll medicate some kind of way where they are spending money and it's bringing it back into society one way or the other.
You medicate with other women. That's what I did. I medicated with other women.
That's what I'm saying. Other women.
I was unhappy with these other women. Even though I'm outside, I look like a player, but inside I feel terrible because the relationship I wanted didn't work.
And
you're, it's so sad. That's what I'm saying. It's so sad. I feel bad knowing that this is happening. And that's why I really, truly hope that even with this show today, and I'm so sorry to cut you off, AV.
No.
Even with this show today, I really hope that someone can take some of the messages that we're sharing and teach their sons, teach their daughters to have more equality for emotional well-being of everyone, not just girls. Girls are so supported when it comes to emotion, but men are pushed to the wayside, and it's not fair. And that imbalance is creating lots of discrepancies all across society. That's just one, because again, like I said, women, we see men and we ignore a basic need. This is a basic need, and it's society as a whole is teaching us that it's okay to abuse half of our population openly, and it's not fair.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And just again to kind of revisit what we were just talking about a couple seconds ago, consumerism. You know, women are the biggest consumers, and quite frankly, in my view, women medicate themselves more than men do. Right?
Oh yeah, with shopping, nail polish, pedicure, hair,
nail polish,
hair, come on, everything.
Wine, all that shit. They medicate themselves to appear to for escapism, right? So again, I did a show the other day on Tuesday. Shout out to DJ Epps, and basically Epps said, "AV, how come women will encourage you to go to therapy when you're having trouble between, you know, relationship interdynamically versus being encouraged or willing to go to therapy because of alcoholism or because of, you know, they like to smoke weed?" And I said that because they want to escape. So women realistically are the ones, for the most part, are medicating themselves because they are living in a delusional fantasy and they don't want a man to see and live in that delusion. the only reason why a man can live in their delusion if it is succumbing to their needs and their whims. But when a man, such as content like this, when we start exposing some lights and some truths about men and women and what the real cheat codes are, women get flustered because they're realizing that men are waking up and realizing that everything that we were taught, single moms, all the shit that we were talking about earlier, Karen, that sounds great, but is not relevant to today. Men don't know what to do. So now there becomes an uprising. So now men start to look at women as even less valuable.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
That's the point. That's the point.
So now society's telling women you are valuable. Men are starting to see the truth and realize they are not as valuable as society has told them. So now there is a big disconnect. So we're never going to be able to coincide, and you can't change the population. You can't, because will not be alive when this shit turns around, if it ever does. What I always say is water your own lawn, keep your own counsel, govern yourself accordingly if you have kids, etc., and understand this journey as a man, journey as a woman. And if you are ultimately looking for a successful union, you got to be able to disconnect from all the bullshit outside and really govern yourself and create the life you want to live that you know will be successful.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I have to disagree with one thing you said.
Hold on, Karen, hold on. Go ahead.
Super chats. I see somebody on fire, and this somebody I don't know, so shout out to you. You just dropped it. Let me see. Where'd it go? Let me make sure I get that.
I don't even know who Kevin Samuels is.
Oh, you gotta check him out.
Oh, Lord.
I don't watch a lot of TV. I'm very naive.
He's on YouTube.
He's a
got
YouTuber.
like the hottest dating podcast going right now. He has like 1 million. You got 1 million subscribers.
Edit make men masculine and women feminine. Oh, I think that was a continuation. Shout out to Unique. I see you, bro. Where'd the original one go? I don't know where it is. Oh, here it go. Okay. Man, men do not want a strong, independent woman. Independent woman, black women have been saying that since the 70s. It's made a lot of them masculine, unfortunately. Okay.
Oh, I'm not following that. I'm independent, but I'm also a very big girly girl. I believe in wearing makeup and having my hair nice and wearing dresses. I wear dresses every day.
Nice.
Even Rob can point that out. Every time he's seen me, I've been in a dress, and so I'm definitely
next time too.
But Karen, you said that you disagreed. I would love to hear your
yes,
opposing side.
about the shoot. No, I don't remember. Oh, about it being able to change. You said maybe it won't change.
Yeah.
I think, nowadays we have so many ways to bring messages to people, right? So I don't know how many people are watching this right now. We've been talking now for quite some time.
This is regular. No big deal.
Yeah, it is. Okay. So, all it takes is to reach a few people. There are ways that if we really want it to try to make an impact, you can use YouTube to reach a huge, massive audience and bring to light what is happening. I don't think the average person takes time to analyze what's going on. And like I said, even myself, I was the same. I looked at men as being unemotional. They don't need hugs. They don't need kisses. They don't need support. And so in my mindset, again, this is what I was raised to see and believe. And it wasn't until I started meditating and kind of self-reflecting and looking at what I've seen here in society and in other societies when I lived abroad and watching, just thinking, I don't want my son to be treated this way. It's really sad, so go ahead.
Do you mind coming? I want to just come in because I think it's going to help with this. So You say a lot of things that sound good on paper, but they're actually probably not good. And here's what I'm saying. So you're saying men need to be more emotional. I'm not against having more emotional awareness and empathy, I would say. But men being emotional, hell no. I'd
No,
say what
I
it
don't.
is.
I don't
Listen,
mean
listen, hold on,
emotional
hold on.
that way.
Let me finish, and then you'll get what I'm saying.
Okay.
I think what happened though is that women are trying to tell men how they need to be, and that's where the problem is, because women don't know men but want to tell us how to be men, but they want us to know women and know everything about them. So it's like, yeah, we need a rite of passage. That's why a lot of these men out here aren't men right now. See, the reason why is what you're saying, men need to be more emotional. They've been doing that in America, and that's why these men are so soft with the feminist movement and all that. What we need
Right
is a
on,
rite of
Trav.
passage where we have men come in, teach men to know their emotions, have empathy, but yet still make logical decisions. And you need to go through rites of passage to know how to deal with it. Case in point, in Africa, you have tribes that they say, if you want to be a man, we're going to give you the tools. You got to go kill a lion. Don't come back until you kill that lion. Now, why do they do that? I'm not saying you got to send your kids to kill lions, but you're making them face their fear. There's emotion involved that they have to check because they have to fight through that emotion to make a plan and a strategy, and they have to come back with receipts. If they don't do it, they're not men. We need rites of passage. So I agree with you that men need to be more involved, but it needs to be done in a manly way, not in a woman way, because that's why you have so many metrosexuals and soft men right now.
Yeah, and I don't mean in a feminine way, because that's not attractive. No woman wants a guy. No woman wants a guy who's not a guy. I want my guy to. No, I want my man to be big and strong and make me feel safe.
You see how other men talk that too. You saw he was reacting the same way because that's how we were taking it. Good.
No. I don't want some wimpy guy who's going to be crying on my shoulder every night. No, I don't want that. What I want is sorry.
That's what I thought you were talking about at first.
Oh heck no. I don't want him to. I don't want a gay guy. I want a real man. Okay. I want a real man, but I also want him to be open with me when he's in pain. I want him to trust me enough to come and talk to me so I can hold him in my arms and tell him I love him and it's okay.
Ooh,
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about him being some wimpy guy who can't hold his own. Then I won't respect him and I won't want him anymore.
You know,
but it's
sorry.
It's just being open, more of a cohesive relationship because he's in tune with what he feels and he knows how to express it in a way where it makes sense to me, but not where I'm losing respect for him.
You know, that's again, and I respect what you're saying. In my view, I don't think that works. I think and again, it's because I find that it's a very fine line, right? It's a very fine line. You know, when the man expresses himself, men are supposed to be sought after as the strong protector, leader. Right. And a lot of times women want to know everything but don't understand anything, right? So they want to know everything. And the only benefit, quite frankly, when you open up to a woman, the only person that's benefiting is the woman. It's not really making you feel better because the problem's still there. Typically, the woman can't help you. That's like when you get a cut when you were a child and you put a Band-Aid on the boo-boo. But when you're a man, you're in a relationship, telling you my problems is really not going to make the problem go away. Now, there are certain levels of communication. So if I'm going to show a woman, I'm going to include her in certain things for some type of feedback or things that she can handle. A lot of times women tend to overreact based on a problem that can be solved with some more time and some more logic. I always encourage men to surround themselves by like-minded men who have the same wiring, the same DNA, to give them an opportunity to kind of assess the situation better and then present it to the woman. Now, I'm not saying you can't express yourself to a woman because if the woman is into you, she will know something is wrong. Let's not get it twisted. However, there's levels, right? Because the same things you can communicate to your girlfriend, Karen, you may not necessarily be able to communicate to your man because he may not understand or he may not even care. This is why men and women should like each other for a long-term relationship when sex pays and all that shit. But men and women can't really be friends per se. I gotta talk to Alfie about some shit that we're both going through and we're trying to build so you could take advantage of all the fruits of our labor. And you, on the other hand, you could talk to the other soccer moms about the kid, talking about what kind of school they're going to get into. So there's levels to this shit, bro. But I hear what you're saying. I hear you.
And then one thing, again, the whole point of everything that I'm saying is that men need to discuss what's bothering them.
For
Now,
sure.
if you have a male friend who you can confide in, then you're serving that purpose.
Right.
I'm saying that in society there isn't normally an outlet for men to handle the stresses that they're feeling. So they're dealing with it in an unhealthy way.
Right.
So if you have an outlet, I don't care if it's your woman or your best guy friend. I'm just saying that there needs to be an outlet so that it's a healthy way to deal with whatever it is you're going through.
And
Right.
that's why the channels
no,
like
right.
Command Your Confidence and Afi's channel and other channels, you know, are doing. So they have these outlets for themselves, and they're helping so many other people in the process. Guys that may feel embarrassed to raise their hand and ask a question, or may not have somebody in their
Correct.
vicinity that's like-minded. So there's platforms. So this is why the younger generation, I don't really feel sorry for them, because you guys have so many tools at your disposal that I didn't have. Bro, it's like, shut up, because you have no excuses, bro. Like, so
Yeah.
I hear what you're
Yeah,
saying,
that's
Karen,
true.
but, you know, like, hearing you and understanding what's outside and being on these panels, it's hard for it to connect and gel. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, that's why it's old fashioned.
Right.
And that's why I was saying that there's this huge, not only disconnect, but imbalance in equality, like emotional equality.
Facts.
You know, we said that before. It's that imbalance is there because of how we're all raised. And
Exactly.
so for me, the way I was raised, it stuck. You know, it has worked. It has worked for me in my lifetime. So I haven't faltered from that. But a lot of people have changed, and unfortunately it has created a gross negligent imbalance in society when it comes to emotional regulation for some.
Facts.
So that's what I'm saying. I think we're all saying the same thing.
For
The
sure.
whole point is that, you know, if we have to wrap this up in a nutshell, the whole point is we need to really know how to take care of ourselves first. It's not being selfish, it's understanding your needs so that when you do meet someone, you can teach them how to love you as well. And otherwise, if you can't do that, you're just spinning your wheels. And it's just, like I said, a buckshot in the dark. And, you know, Travis made a comment earlier about how, you know, he self-medicated with sex, but he never felt after that, he always felt, did you say empty? I can't remember the term you
Yeah,
used.
it didn't.
But
just
it was,
felt-
you know, you were still lonely. So
Yeah.
he, you know, still lonely. He didn't make the connection that he really needed because he wasn't emotionally, spiritually, and intellectually connected to the woman first. It was only a physical attraction. And when that goes away, and we all know it goes away, it's always the hottest in the beginning. You got about a month of hotness, right? And then it starts to taper off and taper off and taper off. And what's left after those first 3 months? Let's be real. The first 3 months is when you're really impressing each other and you're showing your best side. But once that honeymoon stage is over, what's left? So if you connect physically first, you have nothing to hold on for that relationship to hold on to when the honeymoon stage is over. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
This was an informative panel, man.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
Brita said, she says, my man will be the pilot, I will be the flight attendant, or I'm not having a. Yeah, right. We're trying to sound like a perfect girl.
My club, let's go.
Now let me throw this in here now, because see, this is where I come in as a man, and I'm just being honest. This is where I say women are so goddamn confused, because what you're saying is right. It's not that the things you say are wrong. They're actually spot on if this was a perfect world. That's what I feel like.
But it's not a perfect world.
You got to say that again. If it's a perfect world.
If it's a perfect world, but it's not.
Exactly.
So with that said, when women complain about all the emotionally unavailable men that's out there, but yet they're the ones that they're having sex with.
Yes, but everyone's
here's the thing. Let me finish.
self-medicating. Yep.
Just let me finish. I get you. I'm not trying to cut you off if you mean. Just let me finish. I don't want to get this out. So when I am, and this is majority of the time, when I am the emotionally unavailable guy that she can't pinpoint everything on, I'm a little sporadic, I'm not at her beck and call, there's mystery, I got control. The moment I start doing what you're talking about and I become that regular guy, I want to be more emoting. I want to share myself with this woman and the mystery fades. Now you're not that catch she saw, you're regular. Then when you become regular, that confiding, women take what you say and use it against you as chinks in your armor. Because a lot of times women take the things you vent about and they store that in the back of their head because we're the leader. So if I'm a leader and I'm complaining too much to my lieutenant too much or venting too much to my lieutenant too much that I'm supposed to lead, biologically and I think instinctually, women go, is this the leader I thought it was? He's telling me these things. Let me poke and see. So that's the problem with what you're saying. It sounds good on paper, but when you do the stuff and be unemotionally available, be a little distant, do what you need to do, the women want to chase or they kind of have more mystery. Once you become that regular guy, and I've been in this situation where you're there for them and you're consistent and all that, a lot of women get bored and now it's on to the next and they don't even realize they sabotage themselves.
No, you're right. And that's why I keep saying the whole point is there's an imbalance in society of how we are, how we interact. It just goes back to that imbalance. And you should be able to be yourself with the woman that you care about. You should be able to do that. And I'm not saying that you have to tell her everything because I'm not going to tell my man everything. I'm not going to, I'm not going to tell him if I'm upset about something, you don't have to go 100% all day, every day. Oh, honey, I'm upset about this. Then you become a punk. Let's be real. All right.
Oh,
hey, real quick. Let me drop this real quick.
You should have led with that though.
Hold on. Wait. Let me finish, Travis. Let me finish.
There we go, guys.
What I'm saying is that, okay, so it's kind of like negativity as a whole, right? No one wants someone who's always negative, right? But if you everyone has problems. And when you have issues that are weighing you down and they're so heavily weighing you down that it's altering who you are, you got to release. So I'm saying that there has to be some points where you release some. But if you're every day, all day, you're a clingy mess. No one, you need to be stable. You need some stability.
Facts.
You need to be strong to a certain point where she will always see you as someone she can admire and respect. And that goes both ways. If she's always whining and crying, you're not going to want that. No one does. We all love strength. We all love confidence. What I'm saying is when you get to the point where life has just beaten you up so much where you are no longer recognizable to yourself in the mirror, you have to go to somebody, whether it's her or your good guy friends. You have to get it out. You cannot do it all on your own. No one in life can do it all on their own all the time.
Yeah, that's true. No.
That's what I mean.
Chat, Karen, real quick. Shout out to Mr. Tennessee for the generous $20 super chat. Appreciate you, brother. He says, men are born to be natural problem solvers and fixers. Women are not built like us. Go ahead and tell her your problems and then get emotional with her and watch that coochie get dry. That's what you meant to say. She says, I'm not lying. I'm single because it'll take a certain type of pilot to fly the plane.
Top Gun. Maverick. Maverick and Goose. Yeah.
You like pilots that wear red and we just this is the kind of
Look at this guy is crazy.
Kamikaze. Let's
He's
go.
very well animated. Good pilot expression, man.
So I wanted to segue it to the title, which was why women can't find a decent man. So,
and I don't believe that. I think.
No, well, here's
I'll let you finish, and then I'm going to tell you. I don't believe that. I think there's tons of great guys out there, but I'm going to let you finish first.
There's tons of great guys that are out there and doing what you're saying they should do. They're just in the friend zone. There's tons of them that are out there. They're just in the friend zone right now. And then on top of that, a lot of men that are decent men, women think they're too average and they're not fly enough.
Let's go.
They have too much Russell Wilson type energy, and they want more future type energy.
So you're saying their
They want
expectations
toxic
are
energy.
high.
Let's
That's
go.
why there's a bunch of decent men out there, but when decent men do the decent stuff, they're boring. They're weak.
Facts. Let's go.
When the men are doing the non-decent stuff and they're doing the stuff that you say they should be doing that they're not, women see that disrespect as strength because they misconstrue it because their guy's disrespectful or kind of not into them and all that, but it's value. Subliminally, they go, that guy's higher value than me, so I'm chasing his validation because the only reason why he's acting this way is he must be high value more than me.
That's because everyone wants what they can't have. So if you learn to develop that I'm untouchable, most people will chase. But so that's all that is. Again, it's all going back to what I said. There needs to be a shift in emotional equality that we don't have. I don't know if it was ever there in society. I do know that, again, like I said, I'm in my 40s now, and I've noticed a change in this age group. I would say starting at about 35, I noticed an emotional change in men wanting more. But at this point, they become so wounded, they don't even know how to go about getting it. And then women trying to act like men, they're constantly, it's almost like what is that little machine with the bumper balls? I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, thank you. Where they're just constantly bumping up against the wrong thing. So then you get to the point where you give up and you don't even try anymore. You have these wonderful men who just quit. Yeah. And even sex doesn't medicate them anymore. They just quit. And so that's what I'm saying. It's, it's there needs to be changes. How to go about getting those changes, who knows?
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
Someone asked Karen. Someone here. This will be the last question from Mr. Tennessee.
Yeah, because this is like 2 hours.
This was fire though. It didn't seem like it to me. I'm having fun.
Like a typical time. There ain't nothing less than an hour and 20. That's like the starting.
Okay.
Time. If you just want to do podcasts and stuff like that, or you want to hop on like you and Rob do something, you have to.
No, I didn't. I'm not against it. I didn't know because this is my first time appearing on like a little show like this. So I didn't know.
This is your first time?
10 hours.
Yeah.
This is your first time doing this?
That was our first time.
Oh, you're so spoiled because you're not going to go to other panels and it's going to be like this. They're going to attack you and be immature and all that. See, here we're about finding truth. We're not about just trying to win. We're trying to win with everybody. Win-win. You go on other panels, the guys be so weird, and just because you're a woman, they'll attack you. So if this is your first one, I'm just letting you know, not all of them are going to be this type.
I can't imagine that I'll get another opportunity to do this because, again, I was invited by Rob. And I mean, how many more people am I going to meet in my life that has a YouTube channel with this type of content that would,
What I will say, though, to you, Karen, that you have great voice inflection, you have great energy, and you seem very knowledgeable. You have, I think you have ample life experience to be able to educate young men and women, for that matter. You have great voice inflection, and this is something that maybe you and Rob can do something in the near future to educate people. Because again, the point of this, I thought coming in, this was going to be a debate, even though it was a healthy debate. I think we learned a lot from each other, and I think we did a great service to the audience. Because again, we talked about old-fashioned, old-school values that we want to bring back because those were built on the foundations. However, with things changing so rapidly, it's a far-fetched, I guess, dream for that to happen. The only thing that we can do as people in society is just contribute, continue to be positive, continue to talk the walk and walk the talk, and try to make sure that we are not toxic and we try to keep our blinders on and not get distracted from all the bullshit that's going on outside. If you got kids, try to raise them the right way. If you invite somebody into your home or into your circle, make sure they are coinciding or in the same mindset as you, so you can elevate each other while you guys are still together. That's as good as it can get at this point, bro.
Yeah, no, I agree. I really had a great time talking with you guys, and you know, I was telling Rob before I even, you know, when he was like, well, what do you want to talk about? I didn't want to give away the whole, you know, concept, but I just said, look, I want to talk about the problems with dating and why I think they aren't working. And I just told him, I said, I think you'll be surprised at my take on it. I do know that I am standing alone in this light for the most part, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay to be different. If I have to be the one voice that comes out and says, hey, look, we need to make a change here, I am strong enough to stand in that light and all by myself until I have more people to support me.
So why don't you answer this question though before we close out?
Yep.
Mr. Tennessee says someone asked Karen to describe a broken man.
I think, and I saw that, I wasn't sure if we had time. I guess for me, it's someone who doesn't want to try anymore. So let's say, you know, how I made the comment that men love wholeheartedly. And then once the relationship fails, they just give up. They will not, they are afraid now to emotionally connect. And that, when I say broken, I mean emotionally broken, where they don't want anyone in their life anymore. They're just at a distance where even if they meet a lady who they care about and they keep her around as a consistent, like in a consistent relationship, it's so hard for them to reconnect because of the fear of going through that pain again. So that's what I mean. And that's why I said men and women love differently, and that women, you know, I unfortunately have seen, and I've done this myself in the past. And that's why I said, in order for me to make a change, and if I have to stand alone in this for now, change starts with one, right?
Sure.
I made the comment last week to the guy. I mean, I only just started seeing him 2 weeks ago. It's all fresh and new. So of course it's all exciting right now. But like I told him, I said, I don't know where this is going to go, but this connection that we have, I am going to love you unconditionally, and I'm not going to hold back. And that's something that I've never done before. And I said, I don't care if I get hurt and I have to eat tons and tons of Ben and Jerry's to get myself through it at the end if it doesn't work out. But at least I am teaching myself to break out of that mode that I created. And I have to do something in order to make that change. And if no one is willing to change, then how will you ever see improvement? And again, in closing, there was a statement. It's usually said that Albert Einstein made this comment, but it's been debunked. He wasn't the one who said it. And that statement is, the meaning of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. You cannot see a different reality if you don't make a change to your life.
Good stuff. Hey, thank you, Jay John 4040. See, you knew I like you already, bro. You want to like me fast. You dropping these 20s. Let's do it, baby. Yeah. You know, because I don't know this guy. Next, put an avatar up and follow me on the gram so I can see who you are, man. Or ma'am. Speaking of admiration from men, tell her to check out the business YouTube channel. What women admire about man and delusion. That's a long ass fucking channel, bro. Goddamn.
Give me a headache.
Average guy. Yeah, bro. He built real men for decades to openly call him, verify his advice works. I'm gonna give you a advice, Karen. I think that you have a nice tone. You're very intelligent, and it's a reason why Rob invited you on this panel. Other than what you knew, you know, it could have been for you to get a taste of just public conversation, and could you inspire you to do something. You welcome to my channel anytime. You and Rob, I feel like you guys should do some shit to where you can have an intellectual conversation per week. That'll be and pick apart stuff. I know I'll watch it, and you guys give her a fire sign in the chat if you like it too. Hey, China White, right on cue. Did I rhyme? I didn't try to do it. And I did Sarism tonight too. Check out what's going on with Sarism too.
Keep grinding. Let's go.
Well, I'd be happy to, you know, always, you know, to come back as often as I'm invited. my goal would be with any next show is to kind of dive into maybe specific content, like, you know, how to really go into self-love and things like that. Like I would like to individually dive into those particulars and give them more attention so that we can help people understand how to do that instead of just talking about it. Unfortunately, too many people take time to go say what someone should do, but they never really give them the tools to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Let's say our last words. I'm gonna start with Trav. You go ahead and say your last words, brother. Then we're gonna push out.
Oh, just again, just I wasn't originally on this panel and I got invited, so I don't ever take that for granted. I appreciate you letting me come on the panel. It was great talking with everybody. Follow me on Instagram at Trav_Tarot and peace.
Good. Hey, make sure y'all like the video. If y'all ain't like the video, make sure y'all like the video too. Because sometimes y'all forget. Y'all get to watching and just get to digging in y'all nose and then y'all forget. Now, don't right now. Video and share it too. Share it on Facebook. Share it on Instagram. Share it to your baby mama so you can trigger her ass.
You are crazy.
I'll be sharing this on my Instagram.
Karen, I didn't even get a chance to cook Karen, so I gotta cook somebody else. So you go show your baby mama, bring her over here so she can get triggered and talk shit to me, and I can put her out for breakfast.
There you go. Give her out to the dogs. Well, it was great meeting all of you guys.
Hold on. We taking turns, Karen. I'm gonna let you go.
Oh, I'm sorry, honey. I'm sorry. My bad.
AV, it was a pleasure. Karen, it was a pleasure to meet you. Afi, thank you for having me on. Rob, Trav, my brothers, good to be on the panel with you guys. I think this was necessary. I think it was a refreshing take on things that were covered in the past, but it was good. It was good energy. Follow me on Instagram at Alpha Villains. Also subscribe to my YouTube channel, Alpha Villains. Thanks for having me on. See you next time.
What about that new book you got coming? What's the name of that?
Oh, you got a book.
Real quick. Yeah, I got a book coming out. It was inspired. I don't know. Damn, I put the title already. But anyway, 12 signs she's not the one and why she blew it. But it's coming, end of the year. Afi inspired it. We're going to go over some of the details, man. But it should be a good read. It's one of two. So stay tuned for that. And I got a new morning show coming out, too, very soon. So stay tuned.
For sure. Rob, you know what? Let me do Karen first, because I could do Karen and that might be 10 minutes. So let me do Karen first. Then Rob.
Okay.
I know how it goes. Then Rob will get a turn. So you go ahead, Karen, first, and then we'll let Rob end it since he's.
It's real quick.
Hold on, real quick. You guys give a 1 in the chat for Command Your Confidence. Make y'all subscribe to his channel because this was his idea. He the one pulled this off, not me.
I'll put the link here in the chat for you guys.
Go ahead and say some cocky shit. Now it's your turn to get cocky now.
Finally. Okay, so I can say goodbye. Well, hey, Karen, I had to say, before coming on the show, it's kind of kind of skeptical, but you wowed me with your opinion stuff, and you wowed the audience and everything. And I knew I had a good feeling about you when I first met you, and that's why I spoke to you about wanting to go on my show, because we were talking about I told you what the premise of my channel was about and everything, and you seem to kind of have the same views as that, as when we were talking. So I would definitely like that, have you, do some more content on my channel. Maybe we can go into specifics about certain things. That'd be awesome. Afi and Alpha Villains, and always a blast talking to you guys. I'm glad. Thank you, Afi, for allowing Karen to
positive energy only. You ain't never seen positive energy for 2 hours. And guess what? You guys can't copy that. You don't know how to copy positive energy for 2 hours. I want to see you try it.
Yeah.
You can't do it. You can't do it. You can talk shit though, but you can't get me positive energy.
Yeah, we got a lot of positive energy.
Arguing, I dare ya. $100 cash app if you can do it too. Karen.
Your turn, Karen.
Your turn, Karen.
I'm up now? Okay, because I kept chiming in when it wasn't my turn. But no, I again, anyone who knows me, they know that I'm real positive. So this is just kind of my cup of tea it's real difficult to take me to a negative side. I'll always bring you back to a more lighter, half glass kind of full situation. It's just how I am. But again, thank you, Rob, for inviting me on here. I had a lot of fun meeting everyone and debating, even in agreement with various reasons as to why I feel that dating isn't working for most. And again, I disagree. I think there are tons of decent guys out there. I feel like I meet a lot of great, wonderful men all the time. They just aren't for me. You know what I mean? There's no such thing as a perfect guy, but there's the perfect one for you. So again, thank you guys. And
Pleasure.
anytime you want to hear my 2 cents again, I'd be more than happy to grace you with my presence.
Awesome.
Good. Well, make sure you guys like the video, share the video, drop a comment, check me out on Amazon. I got the Tales from the Underworld. The book is done. I'm gonna drop it any day. Tales from the Underworld and Conversations with the Mind Part 2. It's not cheap either. This is high level game. This is high level game, guys. I'm telling you right now, it's worth it. Other than that, I'll see y'all tonight with Sir Ism, and y'all have a good one. Peace, everybody.
Peace.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good night.
Good day.
All right,
Bye.
take care.